Welcome to Head in the Clouds. I'm Ketta May, and I'm so excited to be here at 716 Live Studios. And if you haven't subscribed to 716live.com, you should. They have everything you need: broadcasting, podcasting, whatever it is, vlogging. Check them out, all in the same studio here at 716 Live, the livest show on the planet. And I cannot not explain how excited I am. I have a special guest here, guys. This is Emmanuel Kulu Jr. Give it up. Woo!
What's good, everybody? What's up?
So
What's up?
excited. I know I want to just hug you right now. Oh no, I'm sorry. I just didn't do it. Why I do that like that? Why did I describe me like that? Like I just want to.
I'm like, don't leave my hand out there now, dog.
So he is so amazing. So amazing, guys. When I tell you he's an entrepreneur that has been in the rap game. He has done the clothing, his own podcast, acting in movies, radio. Now I see him as this African historian, an author, and there's many more things. I cannot wait until we get to know him more, guys. So before we start, I always used to say a prayer, but I actually want to do a scripture, and I want people to allow that to resonate and meditate on that word. You know what I mean? So today's scripture is Luke chapter 21, verse 27. And then they shall see the Son of Man coming on a cloud with power and great glory. So leave in the comments what you think that means to you. I know what it means to me. What do you think that means to you, Ed?
Well, I'm a spiritual man myself, and a Bible believer like yourself. And I believe that the world as we know it will be changed when that time comes, where the Most High will send His Son to bring things to judgment,
Yes.
and to save His people.
Yes. Yes. And even me now, even though I'm not a son, I'm a daughter, but I feel like I empower that what God has in us, and I'm coming with that power on that cloud and that great glory. But I'm still gonna get that glory to God.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
So, like I said, I'm so excited you're here. I'm so happy you took the time out. How are you feeling?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. A lot. Been busy.
Yes.
Staying focused. Got a lot of seminars coming up throughout the year. Colleges, universities, high schools.
Yes.
It's been a big year with all the things that's happening in Buffalo. So it's raising awareness to diversity in education. So I plan to be a solution to that.
I love that. I love that so much. And like, I've been getting to know you for around 8 years, and I like to say getting to know, because when people say I know them, before you know it, if they're constantly growing and changing, you don't know them. You don't know them.
Right.
So, and it, like, if I'm shifting and moving with God at all times, I don't want Him to do nothing without me. So if you see me, I want you to be like, is that? And I'm like, it's me.
Yeah.
So, like,
Relate to that.
yeah. And I think, like, that's amazing to me, because it's from glory to glory, basically. God has taken you from this to that, and from that to and it's just an evolution. You're always evolving. Tell us about you. Who are you?
Yeah.
Right now, who are you?
Well, I knew from a young age that I was going to be some sort of entrepreneur.
Yes.
But I knew for work that I always wanted to be in human services, social work, working with kids, working with people with developmental disabilities, because giving is more than receiving, as the scripture says. And I've always found joy in helping others. So professionally, I knew I'd be doing that. But I also had a lot of hobbies. And in high school, I grew up, everybody was trying to rap. Everybody trying to be the next Pop. Everybody trying to be the next Jay, be the next Suge Knight, build a record label, masterpiece. So those dreams was there. But that first thing was basketball for me. Basketball and art was my first thing that I got into. But then as the hoop dreams went out the window, as we get older, I went into the hip hop industry. And that was a fun ride. I had a record label called Teflon ENT.
I remember that.
Yeah.
But you also were signed. Weren't you signed? What happened with that deal?
Well, see, In 2009,
Yes.
we had an opportunity to sign with Interscope Records.
Yes.
I had an
Yes.
opportunity.
Yes.
My goal was to get a label deal, not just a personal deal for myself, because I had a team of about 40 people, models, rappers, R&B artists, and I felt the responsibility to be able to take care of them
As a leader
well.
should, yeah. Yes.
And they weren't offering that at the time, and they kind of were suggesting like, well, let's get you in the door, and let's move forward. Now, the way the industry works, a lot of times you'll find us, and artists that have met with regular executives can attest to this, that they'll meet with you on a Thursday, and they'll give you a contract. This is a big old long packet contract, right?
Okay.
And they'll explain to you how, even though your music is good, they'll explain to you how much you need them more than they need you.
What?
They'll explain that to you. So basically, what they explain to you is that, hey, you got this music, you got this drive, okay? What we do, we put you on platforms, we put you with producers that take you to another level.
Yes.
We put you on the Jimmy Kimmel Show. We'll put you on, Hot 97.
Yes.
We'll put you on platforms that'll take the name Kulu to another level.
Okay.
So they said, really, we can do that with anybody, but we're choosing to do that with you. So this is why they're willing to give people crappy deals all the time. So I said, okay, I took the paperwork home, and I talked to my sister. She was like, okay, we need to get an entertainment lawyer. Now, mind you, this is on a Thursday. You're not going to be able to get an entertainment lawyer by Monday when you got to have that contract signed, or it's going to be voided.
Listen, it's all a gimmick.
Yeah, so that's how it goes.
Oh my God.
So you got to have that contract signed by Monday, okay, or the contract is completely void. So this is how the music industry gets a lot of artists stuck. Now, there are other artists that have the ability to negotiate their contract because they've already made money, such as a guy like Master P, guys who hustled on the street on their own, and the industry came to them. But if you're one of those guys that's looking for a record label to take you to another level, that's a whole different story. So, and that's what you're going to end up doing.
Yeah, and then you just said it wasn't worth it.
No, by the time I finally got an entertainment lawyer to review the contract, we found out it was a horrible deal. It was a deal that would have had me in some pretty bad situations for 7 albums.
Wow.
For 7 albums. Now, they understand that the first album that you put out is probably going to be your best because it's the first time this new artist is going to get with a Dr. Dre or a Pharrell, or you're going to get that nice sized budget. So they understand that that album is going to be your biggest thing, if you're going to be big at all.
Right.
And if that album doesn't do well, then you just shelve it, and then you become like a slave trying to write for other people.
I like how you're saying this. I like how you're stating the truth because a lot of people who are trying to get into this industry, they have no idea, and I can assume that it's only gotten worse.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Because you're saying that was back then.
That was back in
now
2009.
I know it's probably worse than that.
Oh yeah, I mean, and if you look at most of the MCs now, they're very young. They're 17, 16, 18, and they're just looking to be on television, or sing. They don't know. They don't know what they're really doing.
They have no idea. I just appreciate your growth. So like you say, you were in a rap, and then you were in movies. I saw you in there.
Yeah.
I saw you in
I was in the first Purge.
I saw you in Purge. Yes, I'm saying that. How is God moving you in these places like that? Is it just like the timing? What is it?
I felt like as I exited out of the music industry and my record label fell apart for disagreement amongst the team, but I made a film. And you was there.
Listen,
you was
now
there.
I'm gonna say I know this one too, and I'm like, this man. When I tell you, I thought I'm getting to know him.
She was in it.
I was in it too. I'm getting to know him, guys. Like he is somebody. If y'all don't know him, get to know him.
Remember when I interviewed you?
Yes.
I was like, who was cool? Yeah.
I do remember.
Yeah, I had my little camcorder and I made a movie based on
Yes, you did. had the screening for it. Everybody came out to watch. I'm like, you've been doing big things. I love your growth. I feel like you have a major impact on our community and the surrounding communities. How do you manage to do so much, have these titles under your belt? Like, how do you manage
You know
it?
what? I just wanted to dip and dabble in a little bit of everything. Things that you can have influence on the masses of people.
Yes.
So hip hop, you can have the masses of influence.
Yes.
Like Tupac was like my inspiration in hip hop, and you see Tupac was multifaceted. He was music, poetry, movies. You know, he was doing interviews, everything. He was doing it all. So he was like my idol in hip hop.
Yes.
So I understood that I had to be diverse if I wanted to, be able to be a successful entrepreneur.
Yes. I love this so much. And then you don't stop.
No.
You don't
Gotta keep
stop.
evolving.
yes. My hat goes off to you. Like, it brings so much joy to me to see you dibbling out on whatever you do, and you stand on it. You stand for it, and then you don't, like, whatever you do, you make sure you make your mark in that. And I love that. I really love that about you. Like, are you? Do you feel like you are this is like a family legacy, or are you creating your own right now?
The name Kulu is our family legacy. It's our tribe, and I want it to be passed down, But also, when my kids grow up, I want them to see, not limit themselves as to what they can be.
Yes.
I've been able to do these different things that you mentioned,
Yes.
in a short period of time, in less than 15 years.
Yes.
I've been able to spread out and do all of these different things and be successful to a measure in all of them. So, just not limiting myself as to what I can do. Like I said, being in films is tough because there's days you show up on set when you're not even being shooting. Like, you just be there. You're getting paid, which is a good thing.
Right, yeah.
But you'll be on set and they might not even call you to shoot that day.
Oh my.
Yeah, but you can be there all day and, they call you at 12 o'clock, at midnight,
And then they're like, we're ready for you.
We're ready for you, come
and
on.
You're like,
And then you
get
tired
to
out
sleep
your
out
mind,
your-
get to sleep out your eyes, go to work, do about 50 takes, and then go home.
Oh my goodness.
That's how it is.
Oh my goodness.
So it was a big thing. So going from hip hop to that, when I created my first movie, that's what got me into movies. But that was like when my record label broke up, that was my way of saying, coping with the label breaking up.
Okay.
Like showing all the things that we did together. So that's what that movie was based off of, and that opened my mind up into movies. So.
And that's what I was saying, like earlier, I feel like God puts us in places for us to experience it, so that now we know, like even though you're waiting, you're still observing and learning. So then that way you can take it and use it. Because even to me, if someone worked at a restaurant, it doesn't mean you have to work there your whole life. You can take that and create your own.
Exactly.
I think that's where a lot of people get stuck. They think that, I'm doing so well here. I'm the employee of the month. I'm the supervisor. I'm the manager. It's like, but if you're that great at it, you can do it on your own.
Exactly.
And I see that's what you basically do. You find something that you're great at and you do it on your own.
Oh yeah.
Like, this is major to me. And we must restore the truth. When I had my head in the clouds getting these questions for you, we must restore the truth. Just kept popping in my head. Yeah. What does that mean to you?
Yeah. When we talk about we must restore the truth, we talk about African history, Black history.
Yes.
That's very important to me because my father's from Cameroon, and my mother, she was affiliated with the Black Panthers in the 70s, and she moved from Chicago in the heart of the Civil Rights Movement. So I was Black all the way around.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? So,
yes.
As I transitioned out of hip hop and was doing movies, I wanted to do something impactful for Black people, but I didn't want to do it from like a street perspective. I wanted to do it from an intelligence perspective. So that's where the book comes about, and that's where teaching African history goes about. My father always taught me little things growing up. He never wanted me to believe that Black people had no contribution to world history but transatlantic slave trade.
Yes.
So me being African American and African, I was able to bridge that gap and, you know, help my brothers and sisters here understand what Africa is, and not just some bush with lions and bears running around, and, you know.
I grew up in school, and they would, it's like if an African student was in my classroom, that's what they would label them as, like what you're saying, and it's like, and me, I would feel so bad because I'm just thinking, is it the color of their skin, is their accent, what make you feel like they're not us? Like, we're all the same. We come from the same place. Why are you treating this person like they're...
Because a lot of us have been Americanized, you know, to the point where television, when you see on television in impoverished Africa, you see children with flies flying.
You do, and feed them for 25 cents a day.
Right,
That's sadness.
It's like, you don't never want to go there. But if you actually do go there, like I've been there, and I've had the pleasure of going 17 times. Wow. And when you do go and you see like these monuments, the scenery beautiful. Yeah. You see the people showing brotherly love. You see the great ancient artifacts from these places. And you're saying, and everyone you see there that's on the tour is everybody other than African American people. Everyone else, you got Asians there, you got your Chinese, white people, everybody is there except us. Wow. So it's like everybody, they're putting this image about Africa out there, this negative image, and yet they're the ones coming here. So it's something that really helps you think. And then on the flip side of that, in Africa, they're showing this negative image of African Americans. Yeah. They're showing African American people as gangsters, as pimps, as prostitutes, as thugs. Yes. And when Africans come here, they're kind of like, we gotta be weird. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's miseducation on both sides. So that's why it was very important for me to try to bridge that gap.
I like that, because it's like, are you trying to create enemies or this misunderstanding on purpose? Is it, you think it's purposely done?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Wow. The number one threat in the 1970s was to not allow Africans, and this is documented by the U.S. CIA, was to not allow Pan-Africanists to connect with Africa. So people who were revolutionaries in Africa to connect, like the Malcolm X's and the Kwame Nkrumahs in Africa, they could not have that connection. Because if that connection was made, it'd be too powerful.
And you know what? I feel like we're becoming that powerful people that they were afraid of.
Absolutely.
I see it happening now, but I wish that everyone would find the truth. Because we'll all be on the same page and we'll see exactly. Listen, guys, speaking of the truth, like his book, I Feel. I cannot stop reading. I had to say, Ketta, put this book down. I read that book like in days. Only days, because I had to tell myself to put it down. What inspired you to be an author? Like, okay, so we're getting into this author now, because listen guys, you gotta get to know him.
I Black Pharaoh Rise to Power came about because, again, I was tired of the negative image. I wanted Black people to see themselves in ancient history, in a golden ancient history. And I purposely put this Sudanese brother as the model on the book, because I knew it would be controversial. I knew what it was. I knew what I was doing. So they see this black man on the cover portraying the Egyptian pharaoh. They're like, no. People like, no. So I got a lot of hate mail because of it. Death threats.
What?
People was like, you're trying to blackwash Egypt. It wasn't a black civilization. Stop it. Threats, like, don't ever come here, we'll kill you, we'll poison you, all of these things was happening, right?
That's deep right now, what?
So, at first I was discouraged, and then I talked to my pops before he passed, and he was like, you know, people are when it comes to truth, people are not just going to jump on it right away. It's going to take time. Stay the course, you're on the right, you're doing the right thing. You know, Malcolm X received opposition. Dr. King received opposition. So
And
who do you
all
think
we're doing great things.
Yeah, and we're all doing, but when you're going against a systematic oppression, so to speak, and you have something that can possibly open the minds, people's minds, to see themselves in history, you know.
I just don't like how they created the whole thing to make us not even know ourselves, to not know the truth. What do you think they were? It was to stop the power, basically.
Yeah. If you know, there's an old saying: what you do for yourself depends on what you think of yourself. What you think of yourself depends on what you know of yourself. What you know of yourself depends on what you've been told. So when you think about that, what you think of yourself depends on what you've been told. Like, what have we been told about Africa? That it's poor, it's impoverished, has no history, didn't do any significant contribution to world history, and that's what we're taught in our schools. So if you're told that, you don't want to go there. So that's the whole thing and that happens with any civilization. If my tribe conquers your tribe, I don't want your children to know about any greatness of your tribe, because I want you to succumb to my tribe.
Even though you feel, and my thing is like, even as a kid, when we grew up, and I hated history for this reason. I'm not gonna lie to you, I sucked at history. Everything else, I was an honor roll student, merit roll student, but history, I would get like 70s and 60s, and it would bother me. But at the same time, it bothered me to learn that, because something in me kept telling me this is not right. And watching those civil rights things on TV getting sprayed down, and watching the slavery and all that, that's the roots. Like, that's what they always show around our time. Our time to celebrate us, they're showing us being
beaten,
but we're supposed to be celebrating, but why are we seeing this? And when I tell you, I hated that time of the month. So with a pack, I hated it, I'm not gonna lie, and I don't hate anything. But when I tell you, it was something in me telling me this is not right. And it took for years for me to get older to actually realize what I was feeling then was nothing short of the truth. Exactly. That wasn't right.
Exactly. You can't paint the dark times of a people and say that's all you have half of the world. I mean, anybody with half of a brain realizes that one race is not responsible for all the great things in the world.
Of course.
So, you know, as I understood those things, I had to try to help people of African descent to understand that they come from greatness. And I wanted to help people who weren't of African descent to understand the people who you think have done nothing have done a lot more than you think. And the whole for all people to know that their origins are in Africa. So it works for everybody.
It does.
You know, so that was the whole purpose.
I like that. Like I said, I love how you do these seminars. I went to one at the Merriweather Library. Didn't you have food for us and everything? Like guys, he is the man when it comes to this. Like, he's very knowledgeable. Like, he goes deep into important information that you wouldn't even know. Like, even just watching you up there, you're so knowledgeable. I appreciate that. Like, you have this passion, and you can see it, and then you have other people come on and tell you about how important it is to take care of your body, the fasting, and all these things that our ancestors have done. Exactly. But we get caught up in the indulging it and eating so much till you're full. Why? Why?
And that's why it was very important to have health. We had health, and we had mental health. And then we had ancient Africa. So those recipes, our recipe for success of knowing yourself, understanding who, and then have some grub at the end. So,
it was so good.
You know,
a little spicy.
Don't just hear about Africa, taste Africa. You know what I'm saying?
He touched on everything. And it was, when I tell you, everyone in the audience was captured by the whole seminar. I brought my son, and he normally be like, Mom, it's time to go get. He sat and was interested. So I'm just telling you, you did amazing.
Thank you so much.
Amazing.
Thank you for being there too. That was fun.
No problem. And not only that, like, I want to know what inspired you to be an author. Did you tell me what inspired you to be an author?
What inspired me is I understood that there's a few different forms to really connect with people. There's writing, there's films, like I did, there's music, thought about the most respectable one is writing.
Yes.
So I did the music already.
Yeah.
I've been in films before, and I understood that I didn't have the financial capital to make a film that was just going to impact the world at that time. But I do have a pen, I do have a pad,
Yeah.
I do got a computer and a laptop, can make that happen.
You're gonna make a movie out of this.
Yes. Yep, the I Black Pharaoh is being looked at. I can't say too much for non-disclosure
I
agreements.
just feel it coming.
You're right.
I feel it.
But they really like I Black Pharaoh Rise to Power to become the first ancient African film to depict Africans in Egypt as it should be. So
Yes.
it's good. It's going to be great.
I'm so excited. I can see that. I will watch that.
Yeah, can you imagine seeing, you know, an Idris Elba and as a pharaoh and Rihanna as a queen?
I can.
It would be amazing, powerful.
Yes.
Like I love the impact that Black Panther made. Now just imagine something historical, something that really happened.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
This is deep. You get deep.
Yeah.
You're deep, and you said your roots in Africa are deep.
Oh, absolutely.
I like that. You have and this, if you even try to run from it, you can't. It's so deep in you.
Marcus Garvey said, "A person without his history or culture is like a tree without roots." Think about that. Like a tree with no roots, like they will blow right over.
Yeah, you won't grow.
They won't grow, and they will blow right over. They get knocked right over, chopped right down, quick. So we got to be deeply entrenched in our roots and know who we are, because a lot of times, even when I would come across a racist individual, they would say, "Did you know what country you're from?" I'm like, "Yes, I do." Yes,
I hope they didn't tell you to go back to it.
No,
Because that was like,
they never did that.
because you know I used to do something right now. I'm like, huh?
If you want me to go back to my glory, that won't be good for you.
For real?
So no, they didn't say that one. They just asked me threw that question out there, because they think that most black people don't know where they come from. So they threw that out there. I said, my father's directly from China. So I know exactly what tribe I come from. So you can't go there on that.
But if you could tell someone about the importance of knowing the truth, and what would you tell them?
Well, it's important for everybody to know their origin, right? I mean, just think about like foster kids and children who are in orphanages who don't know their parents. And that's just their parents. It's not even their deeper roots. How conflicted they were. As a matter of fact, I worked at a place called Hillside, and they were a foster care agency. And I can tell you, no matter what these parents might have done, thrown their kids in the garbage, left their kids with nothing, children still want to know who their parents were. So that desire is natural to want to know where you come from. So I think it's the exact same with knowing your roots. If you don't know exactly what you come from, you're kind of just like floating around. You don't really, technically you don't really have culture.
You don't.
You won't have your culture if you don't know anything about what your grandparents did, great-grandparents did, know their names, know the language they spoke, the food they ate. You can talk to people who are Italian, right here in Buffalo, born and raised.
Yes.
But they can tell you how to make meatballs, spaghetti, and lasagna, and all that stuff, how they do in Italy. Never been to Italy, right?
Never been.
But those roots was passed down. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, from generation to generation, they did
And
not.
a lot of that was stolen from us.
Yes, it was.
So we have to try to get that back by learning who we are. So
Yes.
that's why it's important.
I like that. I thank you for sharing that with them, guys. Find out the truth. And then not only that, I feel like even this world is so much make believe in this world that it will make you believe that you're something that you're not. But even for me, it's something that longs in me for something more. So even if I just looked around and said, "Oh, okay, I'm fine with this, I'm fine with that," something in me would be like, "No, dig deeper."
Oh yeah.
Dig deep. I don't want to get warped into what everybody else is thinking is okay. I want to find out what's more to this. So much more to us and and people in this world that we're not even tapping into yet. Well, I'm tapping into it. I don't know about y'all, but Kulu's definitely tapping into it.
Facts.
So you guys you better tap into it.
Yeah.
No, seriously. But we can get into the politics and the religion of the truth because and all of that. I don't want to. That would take us all day because when I tell you the truth, then that where is the truth in that?
Yeah.
Oh, it's deep. It is deep. You gotta dig. You can't look at what they're showing you and believe that. You have to dig.
And I tell you, like they always say, African historians have a saying. They say, "The digger you dig, the blacker history gets." That's the reality. That's the reality. Like they digging in Africa, they finding black bones and black artifacts.
Wow.
They digging in South America, finding black artifacts. Finding that black people was in South America thousands of years before Columbus.
You know what?
They digging in China, they finding the same. Where are all these black people coming from?
Where are they coming from?
Black people been everywhere.
Everywhere.
They have been everywhere since the beginning of time. Been moving about because what people don't understand, there was no social construct of
race, basically, right?
Race, but also there also wasn't the colonial borders.
Okay. Oh yeah.
So people were just moving into different areas. If there was desertification in this area, I'm going to an area more tropical. If there's better animals here, I'm going there. If there's less oppression here, I'm going there. It could be so many reasons. But African people didn't stay in one place. So they might have been in Egypt one point, then they might have been in South Africa another point, then they might have been in America another point. So again, that thought that Africans just stayed in their respective society forever is being proved by archaeology not to be true.
You see, you gotta know these things though, guys. Like, and if you don't know and you want to know, check out Kulu. Hit him up. And come to his seminars because he's going to tell you. He's going to tell you exactly what you need to know. So, I cannot not ask this question.
Okay.
This is always the question that I have to ask guys just in case you didn't know. And that is, what does head in the clouds mean to you?
Head in the clouds means to me that you have a vision higher than some people can see sometimes. When I think of that, I'm thinking of like, my thinking is above the thinking of the average person, So I'm on a different wave, so to speak.
I like that. I like that. I like when every time someone gives me their perspective, I'm like, oh, I like that one. And then, so this question right here, I call it memory lane because you have to jog your memory. But for some, you have to go way back, and some it's right there because you think about it. So this question is, if you could go back to Africa and you can take 3 things with you and put it in a time capsule, what would it be and when would you open it? 3 things.
Cell phone. I gotta have my YouTube.
No, it's from Africa. No, it's from Africa.
Oh, it's from Africa.
Yeah,
oh,
you gotta go back to Africa and take
then
something
come back
with
here.
3 things from it.
I would come back with some of the ancient artifacts, being one. Understanding on how to build pyramids, because people still haven't figured that out to this very day. And I would want to probably come back with knowledge of meeting one of the kings or queens or something like that. Just to have spoken to one of my favorite ones, probably.
I like that.
But it have to be Shaka Zulu, because that's my great ancestor.
Really?
So I would probably want to pick his brain. Hopefully he wouldn't kill me. But that would be probably about it.
And when would you open it then?
I would open it, I would definitely open it probably, it'd have to be the right time. It would probably have to be at a TED Talks or something like that.
Okay.
To do a big reveal to the world. I was back in time, y'all look what I got.
Yeah. I love that so much. I thank you so much for coming. I'm so proud of you.
I I'm glad to be
Like,
here.
but you know that, you already know that, like, and I love you dearly, but God loves you more.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
And your family is so amazing. Like, you just keep up the great work. I know you're serving Jehovah's purpose for you. I see it, and you're such an influence on others. And I can't thank you enough for being who you are.
Thank you.
Just keep
I'm glad to be
evolving.
seen.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just, honestly, I see myself as a clay that God can mold to inspire others to live the right way, that you don't have to be a follower. You know, a lot of us young black men, we're led into a few different doors. We're led into, we're going to be a hip hop artist, are we going to be a basketball player, or are we going to be in the streets?
Yeah.
And I want to show the people who come after me that there's more doors than that, but you have to challenge yourself. You have to study, you have to take time. You have to, in any lane you really want to be in, you just study it.
You do.
You just study it. I mean, from podcasting to radio to hip hop, it's all about studying. You know, guys like author, guys like I mentioned Pac. You know, Pac was my favorite because he paid homage to the guys who came before him, but he also knew what he brought to hip hop that was different from everybody else that was in the game at that time.
Yes.
And if you think about it, you know, there was guys more lyrical than Pac, but Pac knew that he was deeper. He knew that his history from civil rights movements would hit people harder in the heart.
Yes.
He knew his compassion for women would speak to future generations.
Yes.
And he also knew that being of a family of activists, that he would have to come up with his own quotes and poetry. And he's the most quoted, most influential hip-hop artist of all time.
I believe it.
And he's still around to this day.
Yes.
To this day.
Everybody was still saying he was alive. That's how alive he still is,
Yes,
okay?
yes. So, you know, that to me, that's legacy.
No, yes.
That's legacy.
Yes.
Leave your mark.
Yes.
I also want to shout out like a guy like LeBron. I like LeBron. And people always ask me, who's better, Michael Jordan or LeBron? And I would say, well, I love Michael Jordan as a basketball player.
Yes.
Better.
Yes.
But I like LeBron for what he does for his community.
I love that too.
You know,
and he did not forget about him.
All his friends from his high school are still his friends. He took them all with him.
Yes.
Like Michael Jordan standing by himself. he said, I gotta have all the money.
Has he always been like that?
Always been like that. To me, I like people who take care of their family, their people. So,
yes.
And not to say anything disrespectful about Michael Jordan, but you like who you like. So.
Oh my goodness. This is your time to tell everyone what do you got going on, where we can find you.
Well, you can always find me on Ancient African Antiquities Research Institute of America. It's called ARIA. That is AARIA. ARIA, again, stands for Ancient African Antiquities Research Institute of America. You can find it at AARIA.org, and you'll find out what I got going on, different seminars, different conferences. We're creating a curriculum very soon to where K-12 curriculum to where we're going to try to make it mandatory for African history to be taught in our schools. So we want to start from over 6,000 years of African history all the way into the present day, to this very day. So we want to include the Tupacs, we want to include African American history, but we want to go further, deeper into our ancient history. We can see how we overcame slavery, and we can see what we was before that. So
I like that so much. This was deep. This was real deep. It's always a pleasure to have royalty. You guys don't even know what you're looking at. You're looking at royalty right now. And it's always a pleasure to have royalty around you. And I'm thankful. Like, I'm so thankful right now. I'm so grateful and just happy and filled with joy. And I thank you guys for watching. And I hope you guys tune in next time, and make sure you subscribe to 716live.com, the livest show on the planet. What are you doing if you haven't already done that? But I also want to leave you with this. Remember, if your crown is above those clouds, they cannot get close to you. You're welcome.
forever.